All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions. Continue our retro pay-per-view review series. Going to be NWA Starrcade 1985, The Gathering. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into it. This is a huge card. It's in two locations this year. It's in Greensboro, North Carolina, as well as Atlanta, Georgia. Tony Schiavone and Bob Caudle did the announcing for both shows. They'll change that next year when they do the same thing. They'll have four announcers then. But these guys pretty much handled it
Yeah, it
for,
was.
for, for the tonight, except for a little bit of delays from time to time.
There's a lot of technical difficulties, and then
Yeah,
Vince gets the great idea to do WrestleMania 2 from three different locations. So we're going to top them, and that was a disaster too.
that was so bad.
That was a
Oh
disaster too.
my
I like.
God.
I do like the name The Gathering. I mean, it reminds me of the movie Highlander, even though this came out before Highlander, a year before.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Not too bad. Then 30,000 combined in attendance from both
Yeah.
places. The fans definitely got their money's worth.
Mhm.
I'm sure people in Greensboro were upset they didn't get to see live the matches in Atlanta and vice versa, but I'm sure they got to see it on some type of video or closed
Well,
circuit
this
thing
was
in
closed
the
circuit TV.
arena.
This wasn't a
Yeah.
pay-per-view. This was closed circuit TV.
So let's kick it off then. First match of the evening, vacated title, go figure. For the NWA Mid Atlantic title,
Mhm.
it was Sam Houston versus Crusher Khrushchev,
Yep.
aka Barry Darso, Repo
Mhm.
Man Smash. We can go
Yeah.
on and on.
He was Russian back then. That's when he was with Ivan Koloff, and
Yeah, you could tell when he was talking.
yeah.
At
Well, they
least,
didn't even bother. He didn't even bother
no,
to
he
like do
didn't.
a fake accent, and they didn't even bother to say like, oh, his parent. Like, they could have said like his parents were from Russia, right?
Yeah,
But that, he has an American accent because he grew up here. They didn't even.
they didn't put any effort into it as to where Nikita Koloff, with the guy is from Minnesota, can't
And so was
did the
Darso.
Russian
So
accent.
was Barry
Yeah,
Darso.
so yeah, he was a what I would call a Rob Conway. He's a sympathizer in a certain way.
Mm.
But the match itself was pretty decent. Sam Houston gave up, a little bit of weight to Khrushchev in this match, but he held his own against him. The one mistake he made is after he hit his bulldog on Khrushchev and thought he had the pin, the referee didn't count the three because Khrushchev had his foot on the rope. Sam Houston started celebrating. He turns around, Khrushchev hits him with the sickle, the Russian clothesline,
Yeah, man.
pins him, and Khrushchev is now the Mid Atlantic champion in NWA. So a little too preempted celebrating there by
No, man,
Sam.
he's got the. Did they have all the? Did they? I think they had the six-man tag. Did they have the six-man tag back then? I feel like they were the six-man tag team champions. They might have been. I
It,
don't know. I don't
it was
remember.
it was around the time where they
Yeah.
had a
They
load of
had the tag team
titles.
championships. They had the tag champs. They had the tag team champions too, right?
Yeah,
That crew, the Russian.
Ivan and Nikita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So these guys, yeah, they were doing damage.
Oh yeah. It's unfortunate though. Only
They're like the
one.
bloodline. They're like the bloodline before the bloodline.
Oh Lord. Only one would become successful though tonight.
Mm.
So what they pretty much did now, and I'm not going to keep going back and forth. Oh, this was in Greensboro. This was in Atlanta. They flip flop the matches. So we'll just do it that way. Next match on the card was the opening match, technically in Atlanta, the Mexican Death Match, or pretty much a sombrero on a pole
Yeah,
match.
this is way before Vince Russo.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, everybody tonight got busted open, so I'm not even going to
Yeah,
bother
yeah.
saying it.
It
This
was
is
overkill. It was
ECW.
overkill. It was overkill.
It really was.
It loses its meaning when you do that. When everybody's bleeding like that, it just
In
loses
every
its.
single match except
It's
for that
too
first
much.
one, yes.
It's too much.
I totally agree. So this was Manny Fernandez versus Abdullah the Butcher. That boy's
Yeah.
still around.
Let me tell you, Manny Fernandez impressed me in this match. I didn't know he was that strong because he did the monkey flip on Abdullah, and I think he suplexed him too.
Yep. He got him up in that, and
Yeah.
the fans went nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very powerful, very underrated.
Hmm.
I always thought he could have been more successful in NWA or even, anywhere else, but he unfortunately he was pretty much like a mid-card tag
Yeah, yeah.
champion, singles to competitive stuff like that. Um, pretty much all this it was a hardcore match that the winner goes up, climbs the pole, and gets a sombrero, which Fernandez did, and he wins the match against Abdullah the Butcher.
He had
I
the
don't
flying
under,
taco, right? Wasn't that his,
oh
wasn't that
Lord,
his
yeah,
maneuver, the flying taco? And that was actually his it's funny because remember Jesse Ventura used to mess with Tito Santana. He saw the flying jalapeno, I was like, mocking him, right? No, this was really his move. I think it was the flying taco.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ventura on Tito, man. When especially at WrestleMania 6, I remember, hey, you can feed Barbarian some of his food. He'll have to tap out 2 minutes into
Yeah.
the match. Chico's revenge. And then let's not
Oh,
forget
Santana.
Bobby Heenan
Bobby. Yeah.
on he used to call it the flying jalapeno for
Oh,
Santana.
yeah.
Oh, good stuff. But you're not going to get that out of Cottle and Shivani here. None of that is going to happen. So, following that match, Johnny Weaver interviewed Crusher Khrushchev on him on winning the NWA Mid Atlantic title, taking on all comers. That title's not going anywhere. He's proud to be Russian. I'm from Russian stock. Blah blah blah. Okay, moving on. Next match on the card that they showed, a Texas bull rope match with a special stipulation. If
Cowboy.
Cowboy Ron Bass wins, he gets a 5 minute bull rope match with J.J. Dillon. So fingers crossed, because it's going to be I keep going to say Outlaw, but not
I
WWF yet.
don't know. Oh, yeah.
Cowboy Ron Bass versus Black Bart. These guys were former tag team partners, and again, busted open. No need to say it. It's going to happen in every match. Now, normally in a bull rope match, the stipulation is you got to touch all four corners. This was just these guys were strapped together, and that's it. Beat the hell out of each other and pin them if you can. No disqualification. Do whatever you want. Bass off the second turnbuckle hit Bart with the cowbell, and he got the pin. I thought that was kind of cheesy, but I mean, considering that's the stipulation in the match, I guess so. Even though he's been knocking him around the whole night with the bell, finally hits him one time off the turnbuckle and he gets the pin. Okay. But he gets what he wants in a 5 minute altercation now with JJ Dillon in a bull rope match, which JJ jumped the gun, got in the ring on him early. Now, the problem in that one was Bass accidentally hit the referee with the bell as he was
There's a
going to
lot
hit
of that.
him.
There was a lot of that this night.
I think it was the same referee too, constantly.
That wasn't
Tommy
the
Young.
that wasn't the guy with the bright yellow one, right? That was the first match, I think.
Oh
He hit that
yeah. The bright yellow guy was getting knocked around.
Yeah.
He's getting knocked around in Greensboro. Tommy Young's getting knocked around in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I know all the time we got Earl Hebner actually behaving himself this night because Earl Hebner's doing a few matches too.
Yeah.
Black Bart came in, gave Bass a pile driver. JJ Dillon pinned Bass, and JJ Dillon gets the victory over him. So it's not a terrible evening for Dillon. He did get this victory over him, and many more to come for JJ tonight. Not to mention what's on the horizon when I talk about the main event later for him. So our next match on the card, well, actually a traction as well, an arm wrestling match.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anytime there's an arm wrestling or a weightlifting contest, something's gonna go bad.
Yeah. Superstar Billy Graham and the Barbarian with Paul Jones. Now, Barbarian had to do it left-handed because he's got the cast on his right hand. Mm-hmm. Billy Graham he actually looked better this year than he did last year.
Well, he wasn't doing the kung fu gimmick anymore.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. And he looked, good in shape.
No, good shape.
He's doing that tie-dye. Brother's got it going. He wins the arm wrestling match against the Barbarian, and following that is an actual match with the Barbarian. Now, once Graham won, Paul Jones hits him with the cane. This is going to become more and more because even during this match, Superstar Billy Graham wins by disqualification. Why? Because Paul Jones hits him with the cane. So, Superstar Billy Graham gets the win on both occasions. He did get the cane away from Jones and hit him with it, but in the end, the Barbarian took him to the outside and whooped him. So he didn't get his hands completely on Paul Jones. So, but they did take it out to the crowd, which was kind of interesting. So next match on the card, the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. I love just where these names just come from. Like, where is that in the pecking?
It's a territory. It's different territories. That's what it is. Yeah.
You got Terry Taylor defending the title against Nature Boy Buddy Landell.
Mm-hmm. Another Nature Boy.
Yeah, well, I prefer the other one, not this one.
Well, this is the third. Well, there's three of them. If you go back to the original,
Buddy Rogers,
which is where they took the name. Both of them, Flair and Landell, right? They took the name from.
And technically, the first WWF champion when San Martino beat him. So This match was actually not bad. This is, Landell pre the 50-pound weight he'll put on
He was.
later
It's a
on.
shame. Landel's a tragic story because he had talent and he couldn't beat his demons. I think he had I think it was alcohol problems. He had some issues because I think he gets fired not too long after this. I think, and they were he no shows or something like that. He was getting a little bit of a push, but
I mean, hell, he was only there, like he had said in his interview later on, 9 months, and he's already the champion.
yeah.
So obviously they had
He gets
some
canned,
faith in
yeah.
him.
He doesn't show up, and he gets. I think Dusty cans him because Dusty was booking,
Hmm.
and then Dusty takes the title and then says that I think he says that he beat him like on a house show that never happened or something like that.
We've heard that before.
Yeah,
Believe me.
the
Tell I,
Phantom title reigns, right? Phantom,
oh yeah. Well, the alleged Pat Patterson Rio de Janeiro,
yeah.
which the true
Well, we know that
story
didn't
is,
happen. We know that didn't happen.
he just screwed Ted DiBiase out of the North American title, and they renamed it the Intercontinental Championship and said that he won a battle royal for it. That's how that happened.
That never happened. And was it a battle royal or a tournament? They said he was in one or the other. Whatever. Was it battle
Either
royal?
way, it didn't happen.
It never happened. Never happened.
He beats DiBiase for that belt,
Phantom.
and they changed the name, and that's it. It's just all of a sudden, oh yeah, we brought in a new belt, and yeah, okay.
And then is it Money Inc? It's the Phantom match that has never been seen.
With the Legion of Doom,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. No one's ever
All of a sudden, we watch
no
Superstars and we
footage.
find out that there's new tag team champions. No
Yeah,
footage
no footage. Nobody
whatsoever.
knows if it really even happened or not.
It did. I looked
You
it
know?
up. It's in the if you go to WWE results, I believe it is. It gives you
I don't want
every single one from 1963 to now.
I don't know. I don't know how legitimate
There was a house show in February
but like
that
there's no pictures of it.
no, there's no pictures. It's just written in there, but unless you
A
actually
title
hear it from
change? When
somebody
have you
that's
ever
been there,
That's what I'm saying. When have you ever heard of a title change? Even if it was on a house show, there's no
very
book.
rare,
Very
very
rare.
very rare.
They
Like I would say
always
2%.
they always have pictures at least, if not actual video footage of title changes. But anyway,
Exactly. We go to Superstars and they just say
yeah.
DiBiase and IRS at a tag
Like,
champs. I'm like,
huh?
when did they put them together? I
No.
didn't even know they were a tag team. Oh, that's funny. So once again, during this match, referee is going to play, the part that Landell hit Taylor, who collided with the referee. Here we go. Then Landell throws Taylor into the referee. This should have been a disqualification right here, but it wasn't.
But no.
Um, Taylor then threw Landell into J.J. Dillon, who was going to hit Taylor with his big boot. Um, Landell was using the boot on the top rope, but Taylor kind of got the upper hand, went for a suplex. Dillon kind of tripped him up, excuse me, and Landell landed on him, and he gets the pin, and Landell wins the championship. So, man, Terry Taylor's just kind of getting any luck anywhere, no matter what
It
event we're
only gets worse. It
covering.
only gets worse now.
Oh my God, poor guy. Okay, moving on. Our next encounter. It is for the NWA National Tag Team titles. There was two set of champions, and
Those two
only
champions,
one titles was on the line. Yeah,
only one title was actually recognized. It's
yeah.
because they were from Florida. These guys were they had the Florida championship, I think, or something like that.
No, they were unless
It
was the
came out
US
of
Tag
Florida.
Championship. Yeah,
Whatever the
it
hell.
was exactly too many belts. Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and
Hmm.
Arn Anderson defending their titles against Wahoo McDaniel and Billy
Yeah,
Jack Haynes.
right.
And this match was pretty good. I like the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. I
No, they
always
were
thought
good.
they whooped ass.
The
I
precur
really, yeah,
the precursor to the Horseman, right? I mean,
yeah. Horsemen are right around the corner,
hmm
like literally. And this match was pretty good. Billy Jack Haynes, I was again another guy underrated, had the build. He was in NWA for a while, goes to WWE. They don't do nothing with him. I always thought something could be done. He had the physical ability, but who knows what goes on backstage. Him and McDaniel did work well together, obviously, as them being tag team champions, but it's the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, people. You're not getting over on them. Arn pinned McDaniel kind of cheesy in the corner as Ole held his foot. Prior to that, Ole tripped up McDaniel, and then Arn Anderson gets on him, and Ole holds the foot down. A little cheesy, but it's heelish type. So what are you going to do? Minnesota Wrecking Crew keep the tag team titles tonight. So moving on to our next match. Actually, Johnny Weaver after that had interviewed J.J. Dillon and Buddy Landell. JJ saying that tonight was a good night, even though Black Bart lost. He beat Ron Bass, and of course Landell becomes
Yeah.
champion. Next match on the card, and I really did like this match for the NWA United States title in an I Quit match in a
In
steel
a steel
cage.
cage to top it off. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing that, combining two matches
This
again.
is This is where the card picks up.
Yes, you got Tully Blanchard defending the title against Magnum TA.
Magnum TA. Yep.
Woo!
A great feud. This was a great feud.
This really was, and everything they're doing in the ring, the crowd was just going nuts. I was on the edge of my seat watching this match. I really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find out because remember the chair gets thrown into the cage. Was it? I don't know. I don't know if it was a fan.
It probably was a fan that threw the.
Yeah, that's a broken chair too.
ECW.
Exactly. Blanchard kind of pulls a piece off, kind of like a steak, trying to gouge Magnum's face with it. Magnum gets the upper hand, reverses it, does it to Blanchard, and Blanchard quits. Which, man, Tully Blanchard is a very tough SOB. To get him to quit in a match, man, it's like Mick Foley. Unless you're going to do an auto recording, you practically got to kill this fool. Mm-hmm. But Magnum TA gets the victory. He's now the United States champion. Everybody's going nuts. Big things on the horizon for him. Unfortunately, we know what comes for him, and that's sad. But I did like his interview later on. I'll get into that later. Next on the card, and this was oh Lord, the Atlanta Street Fight.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it was the Midnight Express. Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey with Jim Cornette versus Jimmy Valiant and Miss Atlanta Lively, aka Ron Garvin.
Ron Garvin. I don't know what the hell is going on with Ron Garvin.
I thought they were going to expose him during the match. Like it was him all along. Right, I even looked it up to see the kind of backstory. There wasn't much in it other than just this. I thought
I don't know what was going on. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I didn't care for because I like Ron Garvin. I didn't
care for the drag.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And you got Big Mama at ringside. You got the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant in it. I mean, this street fight was good. Again, it was just weird seeing Garvin in the drag outfit and not being exposed. But during the match, Valiant and Eaton, they're fighting off in the crowd. Lively hits Eaton with an uppercut as he was coming off the top rope, and that's how he gets the pin. Again, back then, any little thing would get you the victory. After the match, they stripped Cornette of all his clothes, which was really fun to see. And Valiant and Miss Atlanta Lively are the victors. Or just say Ronnie Garvin won it with him. It doesn't matter. Following that, Johnny Weaver interviewed Magnum TA, and he pretty much put the open contract to anybody that wanted a shot at him. Mentioned Arn Anderson, a few others. He said, this is a fighting title. I'm a fighting champion. You want some, come get some pretty much. And he said, I'm not a hard man to find. Put the name on the dotted line. Man, if only things could have gone differently, and seeing him as world heavyweight champion would have been awesome.
Yeah, he had all the tools,
Yes, he did. A rare 5-star tool in professional wrestling. Next match on the card was actually the main event for Greensboro, if you want to call it that, inside of a steel cage. For the NWA tag titles, it was Ivan and Nikita Koloff defending the titles against the Rock and Roll Express. Now, what didn't make any sense in this match is if you're in a steel cage, just anything goes, which it was pretty much, but they were doing tag team rules. You had to tag your partner in order for them to come in. This should have just been an all-out 4-man brawl.
I think they mentioned later, sometime in the match, they mentioned there's no DQ or something like that.
Yeah, Shivani kept saying, he goes, I don't know why the referee is admonishing him. There's no disqualification. The referee even got thrown during the match. Again, you can't disqualify him. So, but what was cool and what I liked, the Rock and Roll Express, I'm going to use a page out of Ventura's book at WrestleMania 5 when it was the Rockers and the Twin Towers. In this case, similar thing. The Rock and Roll Express have to run, they have to hide, they have to move. They have to use their speed against them because if you go power to power with the Koloffs, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the size of Nikita and Ivan Koloff, who's had an amazing career up until now, is still not done, still very well built. These guys are badass. So they have to use their sneaky tactics and their fast tactics, which they did. Morton off the tag rolled up Ivan for the pin, which shocked the world because the Rock and Roll Express won the tag team titles from these guys. After after the match, this is where it gets interesting. They threw Morton out of the ring and they used the chain on Gibson until the cavalry came in to help them. But man, they won the battle, but they lost the war.
Yep.
Gibson butt whooped to that Russian chain. It's a shame, but they are the tag team champions. Now on to the true main event of the evening for the NWA title: Nature Boy Ric Flair against Dusty Rhodes, and this is stemming off of Dusty Rhodes had a broken ankle at the hands of Flair.
Yeah, I think these guys got involved too with
Ole and Arn, yeah.
Yeah, they get involved on. What came out of that was the Hard Times promo. Came out of the famous Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really good build. And of course, they faced each other last year.
Yeah. So this feud, this rivalry has not simmered down one bit. And what happened in September is only going to intensify this match. And this one, I got to say, is way better than last year's befuddle with the whole, referee stoppage and the nonsense. This match was pretty good. Flair, constantly going after the leg of Dusty. Dusty almost looking like he couldn't go on. He couldn't continue, especially when Flair applied the figure four leg lock on the injured leg of Rhodes, and Rhodes used all the intestinal fortitude he could to reverse it. The crowd's going apeshit at this point. And now Rhodes accidentally threw Flair into Tommy Young. Here's where it gets interesting. He goes out to the floor. This guy was good at selling this shit. Rhodes puts the figure four on Flair. Arn Anderson comes down. He breaks up the figure four, takes out Arn Anderson. Then Ole Anderson comes down while the other referee is making his way. And apparently Tommy Young can see this, allegedly. Ole Anderson comes down, hits Rhodes from behind, but Flair couldn't get the pin. Rhodes rolled up Flair for the pin. Dusty Rhodes wins the title for the moment. Celebrating, everybody's coming out to the ring.
Everyone was excited, yeah.
Oh yeah, this was awesome.
There was one guy. I don't know if you noticed this throughout the match. There was one fan. He had to have been in the front row. Yes.
Oh my God!
He's still wooing while they're cutting to the back to the Dusty.
One too many $5 beers, my man.
Yeah.
Especially when he's hitting them on the turnbuckle and he's going woo woo.
Yeah.
Dude, shut up.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, I caught that. That was the only thing annoying about this match.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Tony Schiavone interviewing Dusty Rhodes. The champagne's flying. You got Wahoo McDaniel back there, Billy Jack Haynes, a few others. They're all happy for him. He's like, justice has been served. I did it. This is for all the hard workers out there. Unfortunately, after Starrcade, his victory was reversed by Tommy Young.
Yep.
The outcome then went to him winning by disqualification,
which means the championship can't change hands. This is a famous Dusty ending.
I don't understand why he would do this to himself.
I don't know. Why he did that.
And not to mention,
Dusty finish, I should say.
2 months after this, the Four Horsemen now officially formed in January of '86, and it was Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, along with J.J. Dillon. Now, they continued the feud with Rhodes. I will say that there was a silver lining at the end of all of this nonsense because Rhodes won the title for the third and last time against Flair during the Great American Bash and the tour in '86, but then Flair regained it shortly after. And, that's pretty much where it ended for Rhodes. So he did get revenge for this. However, it wasn't for long.
Yeah, I mean.
But I didn't understand this.
I'm not going to completely kill it because that didn't happen until afterwards. So, like, when the pay-per-view goes off the air, or technically not a pay-per-view, close
as of right now, Dusty Rhodes is the champion.
He's a champion. So, this pay-per-view was a good ending. It was solid. The aftermath, not so much, but
it's a future Monday Nitro fiasco.
Yeah, pretty much. But
unfortunately,
this was it. Like I said, it picks up like halfway through the pay-per-view.
Pretty much with the consistent title matches and the steel cage matches with the main event guys. It really picks
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Great feuds, great action.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really good Starrcade.
Well, absolutely. All right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Take care.